Hello, my name is Lorenzo, and I wanted to show you how we can get started using reports in TeamsMetrics. I want to show you how you can do with reports, how you can share them, and the things you can do with them, at a high level at least. So, let's get started. To create a new report, you just click on Reports and select typically a specific data set, okay, a specific period in time that could be absolute, like in our case, that's what we want to do now, or a relative, so the current week, the previous week, what happened yesterday, what's happening now, all these things, or a specific time period because you want to see January 2022 or whatnot. So let's start from a specific time period in this case. So it's a whole day for June the 19th. Okay, we select a time period. Okay, click on apply. At this point, a report has loaded some calls and we can start to see data. If we want to see different data at any time, we are free to select, I don't know, add a note attendant. Click on apply and you can see the total call count went up. Or we can select different queues or multiple queues together. So you can, for example, could have direct calls as well, and we're going to see a different number. Okay, so you can also add filters. So if you want something specific, or no, you want to select just a specific agent, or you are looking for a specific telephone number, you can just enter it here, and you're going to you can select the NIS or whatnot, and you can compose multiple filters. But before we do this, we can save this report, and I always do, as the first thing, I create a report called template that basically contains taken and lost calls and a general page for the results. So you can decide the order. In our case, we call this page general. Okay, we can always change it. And we have two pages, one for taken and one for lost. So click on settings, edit. Okay, and see lost calls. We added the data blocks for this. So the data blocks, the main data blocks to observe taken calls is this one, or D01. Okay, and the main data block to observe lost calls is this one, that is UD01, if I remember correctly. Yes, that's correct. So at this point we have the basic on which to build other things. One thing we can do here now is to go edit the settings so that we can decide which columns are visible and the order in which we want to see them. TeamsMetrics is showing you a lot of information, but a lot of this information you likely won't care about now. So it's better to have less information. For example, the servers, you don't need it now. The IVR, duration and path, you don't see. Tag, feature code, and the number of variables and feature codes are not visible directly, all these things. So the good news is basically that you have the same information is always available, but you can it's easier to see, and it's easier to, and you have less data on the screen, so it can be a bit less distracting. We do the same thing for taken calls. So we remove things we don't really need now. This connection we need. Transfer the attempts, the code to the server. Munich on hold events, I don't care. The NIS. This information depends, of course, on what you want to do, but this could be a good setup like this could be a good starting point, so that you have basically everything in one screen. You can always enable it later. So we save our template report, and when we go back, we have a template. Okay, we will use this, as the name says, in order to create other reports. So let's say that we want to create a report that that is based on template. What we do is we go here, we click on this, that is clone, and now we have a different report that we can change that contains the same information. At this point, we can edit, we call it, I don't know, my data, and we already have the same view, but for example, I could say instead of being the 19th of June, I want to see the current month, let's say, this month so far. I apply. Okay, of course, this is different data, and I want to, here I could be adding all the data block I want. For example, I want to see the agents that got more calls for this period. This could be my question. So I just click on add data blocks, select a new data block. So okay, 03 for example. Okay, so I can see all of the calls that were taken by agents during this month. I'm free to add, change, modify, change the columns, move them, whatever. When I save this, it will be a different report. When we go back, we can see that this my data has the lock close to it. This means that this report is private. I can only see it myself. But if I want, I can go in, change the settings, and set it to public. This means that not only my user, but all of the users within TeamsMetrics are able to access this, clone it, share it, and do whatever they want. It is also possible at this point to add more information, more filters. For example, let's say that we only want to see calls that were made on Monday and Tuesday. Okay, apply. As you can see, the number of calls went down because the information we are seeing here and the list of calls that were taken were way less than were filtered using a different criteria. You can have, of course, multiple criteria. So if you want, we want to see, for example, some other filters. We want to see that the minimum wait time was 30 seconds. Okay. So we can this way we can see all calls that were processed on Mondays and Tuesdays and had a minimum wait time of 30 seconds. And by looking here, we can know which agents handled them. At this point, of course, we can save it. And this way, this report is available to everybody. I can choose to export this. I can have this export this as a PDF or as an Excel. I can export the template and upload a template for this report if I want to share it with another system or save it as a backup. I can change the queues or everything that I want here, and it's going to be different all of the times, and then I can save it when I want. The last thing that I want to show you is that now I'm not saving this, is that not only I can go in and have this done when I'm accessing the system interactively, but one of the things that are pretty useful is to be able to basically have the system send you a report with we send you an email that contains the reports we care about, so that you don't even have to log in order to have a general understanding. The idea is that if everything is okay, you just say, hey, good, and you don't have to do anything else. If you find some data that you don't really like, you may want to log in and try and investigate, and so drill down and see why the data that you don't like was created. So how do we do that? We click here on the cog. First, we create an export job. Okay, we create a new one. So we give it a title, we call it my data export, the report that we just created, because you could have the same, the my data. We want the result to be Excel, let's say, to PDF. We want to have, here we set the list of emails, so myself at lowe.ch or joe at lowe.ch, whatever. You can have as many reports you want. At this point, I can go back to the main page, and if I want, I can run this. I can select the time period that I wanted to use for the report, and I can decide the kind of export I wanted. So we go back. I could run this here so that I would be able to basically download and see what happened. But let's show you how we do a scheduled job. So create a new scheduled job. We say that we want to run this export job that was called the data export. We can enter the description. So send email at 7 p.m. So when do we want this? Once a day at like 7 p.m. Okay, ever you don't care about. You can decide if you want this all of the days of the week, or for example, maybe you don't want to receive the email on Saturday and Sunday, or for specific days of the month, whether it's enabled. Click on save, and then you don't have to do anything. At 7 p.m. tonight, you're going to receive a report by email that contains all the data you want. It could be a good idea, and a lot of people do this actually, to basically create a report that runs, for example, at 6 a.m. for the previous day. So the report was set as a time period previous day, in order that when they actually go to their office or log in to their office, they already have an email in their inbox that explains what happened during the previous day. So this is quite handy, and a lot of people use it, and I believe it's a great way to get started and to have TeamsMetrics help you solve your issues with administering your Teams voice system. Thank you.